I mean, it's very comic bookish, and the characters are larger than life. So, I mean, if the premise is that Thakral hails from a family which is of Mawalis and Gundas and all of that.
It's very important to be sort of out there and be seen and known, because now, because of the kind of content we're consuming, our attention span has also gotten down. Yes. So if you're not seen often, then you're forgotten quickly.
It was written by the amicable, no longer there between us, Neeraj Vora, a fantastic actor and great sense of humor.
A wholesome character in the negative way. He had a good backstory, and he was out to really get him. And it was made for kids. Hi everyone, this is Clark Kothari. You're watching me on IWMBuzz, and with me are two people who are not only just integral to Reeta Sanyal, which is Hotstar's upcoming show, but they are just playing some crazy version of lawyers, I would say. And that, I think, is probably the most interesting part about it. Of course, it's none other than the one and only Rahul Dev and Manik Papneja. Hi, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us here. Thanks.
Amazing, and this is even more special because they've been very kind, and we've had the privilege to host you. So thank you for coming here as well. Feels really great. I just jumped right into the show first because I had the opportunity to talk with Ada as well, and she also had some really great stuff to talk. When it comes to this show, she was so obvious that it's pulp. It's more pulpy. It's not your वही run of the mill वाले lawyer courtroom drama नहीं है. There's so much happening, right? So each of you obviously are playing this big giant lawyer who has a reputation, and it's not much. There's not much revelation about you so far. So what are the kind of versions of these lawyers that attracted to you to playing a lawyer which is so done and dusted otherwise? So anyone can go first.
Well, it's not a typical courtroom drama, like she rightly said. It's not about the courtroom. It's what happens behind it.
Right.
So Reeta Sanyal goes and she investigates certain things that are off about her life, or certain instances that she needs to inspect, and I help her do that. My character is Ishan Dwivedi, and he plays her, let's say, Watson to her Sherlock Holmes type of vibe. So I'm there to help her and assist her. And while we're doing that, we hit a T point because there is this villainous character that we deal with, that we have to navigate around, and that is none other than Mr. Rahul Dev sitting right here. And he will tell you more about his character.
Yes, sir, please.
So it's like somebody who's like a very strong adversary. I mean, Thakral is the person who I play. He's not used to losing a case.
Right.
And then until he meets with Reeta Sanyal, what happens from there on? With both of them and myself, I won't divulge. I think I'll let the audience watch on the 14th. But having said that, it's basically a lawyer whose sort of background is, I mean, it's very comic bookish, and the characters are larger than life. So, I mean, if the premise is that Thakral hails from a family which is of Mawalis and Gundas and all of that. And then there was the first educated person from there who sort of empowered himself, being a very successful lawyer.
Correct.
But the whole idea behind the ideology is that it's it's going to be like a messiah, so to say, for the dark side.
For the dark side, yeah, okay.
So,
which is so interesting.
So, yeah, but I mean, I don't know of anyone like this in flesh and blood. So, in that sense, it's big and larger than life. So is the hero, which is Reeta, and which is master disguise and all of that, and so is Watson over here, and so is the cop.
Right.
So it's like a heady mix of characters.
Correct.
Coming together, and of course a lot of dialogue buzzy in the screenplay. A space which is larger than life, comic bookish. So that's where on. So you don't look for any reality if that's what you're looking for.
Absolutely. And Manik, what I find with Sir, so interesting is that not only he has like this master's amazing career so far, but he works across any language possible. Like, at least to us, when it comes to multiple languages and even countries in this context. So I don't know how much of Rahul Dev films have you? I mean, I've grown up, and everybody's grown up in one way or another. Is there anything that you have specifically loved? When it comes to Rahul Dev, like for me, it has to be Awara Paagal Deewana. I think Vikrant for me in that film
very
is
funny. It was,
iconic. I'm telling you, I can.
the whole film only, I think, is very iconic.
Exactly.
Mainstream
exactly.
is very. Strangely, a lot of people don't know that Vikram Bhatt, the dear friend of mine, we worked, I think, in 6 projects together. Helmed the project. He was the director, so to say.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know him for that space. They all think that Vikram matlab ke ghosts hone chahiye.
Horror wala, yeah.
But I mean, he has a terrific sense of humor. It was written by the amicable, no longer there between us, Neeraj Vora, a fantastic actor and great sense of humor. And of course, it had Aki and Anna
course,
and
all of these
Fafi
amazing
and
actors,
Paresh ji and Johnny Bhai and Asrani ji. So it made up for a very heady mix of entertainment. And there have been a lot of talks now again to revive it. So let's hear.
Absolutely. Let's be positive. So, I was telling you that is there something that, you've specifically loved of Sirs and
Yeah, I will say I still have nightmares about Champion.
oh boy.
I was very young when I saw it, and it, truly speaking, it was a very thoroughly wholesome character in the negative way. He had a good backstory, and he was
Yeah.
out to really get him. And it was made for kids. But
Absolutely.
kids should not have seen
Should
it
not
because
be.
मेरी फट गई देख के.
Yeah, बच्चों के लिए नहीं था.
बहुत- And I think your look only, those curly long hair and these
You had these long, those trench coats you were wearing through it.
It's bananas, which I think continued in so many other films as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a stereotype in our business. I mean, at least at that point, there
Back
used
then
to
it
be.
was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I come from a very educated background here. I went to Columbus to study और साला इंजीनियरिंग करने के बाद ऐसा लगता था कि इसमें कहाँ आ गए अभी आ गए थे तो ऐसा लग रहा था कि यार ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ और कोशिशें की उस टाइम पे I did 88 Antop Hill for Kushan Nandi Pritish's son. I did Kalpana Lajmi was twice National Award winner. I did Kyun for her as the main protagonist. So they were all smaller films, but at that time I think the audiences was not ready with what you call today the OTT content, or even like smaller theater screenings were not available. There were no 300 seaters, there were no 150 theater seaters, which is so good that the change has happened now for the better.
Yes.
And you have provisions like that. I mean, Tumbad getting a re-release
And double.
and really doing well for the producers. It would encourage other people to come forth and make films which are good. Not that the other films are not good. The other
But
films
they
are
don't
also
get
good.
their due. Yeah.
तो मगर ये है कि तुम्बड़ बम्बड़ को तब पूछा नहीं किसी ने
Correct.
इतना मतलब of course all the awards they got.
Hmm.
It was critically very well received.
But
People in the fraternity spoke very highly of it. But जो बेचारा पैसे लगाता है ना उसको यार थोड़ी encouragement हो जाती है कि यार उसके पैसे वापस आ गए and he could make then go forward to make more such films.
Right, super. Manik, for someone like you, who's, I wouldn't say starting out, but you're still obviously in a very early days of your acting career. You've had some good stuff out there. And now, there's this gradual rise, so to speak. For someone like you, how important is it to be constantly, out there? Or, no, I don't just mean in the terms of social media presence and everything. I mean as an actor as well. Is it one of those instances? Because I know with actors, there is always this thing कि या तो सब कुछ बाहर एक साथ आ जाता है, and sometimes it feels like you're not working for the longest time. So I want to know. So I'm very intrigued when I meet actors who are just getting into the mix. So what is your thought process behind that?
I think I was discussing this just before this also. It's very important to be sort of out there and be seen and known because now, because of the kind of content we're consuming, our attention span has also gotten down.
Yes.
So if you're not seen often, then you're forgotten quickly. So on the one hand, it is nice to be relevant, but on the other hand, just being relevant for the sake of being relevant is also detrimental. Why do that? So I try and find a balance between being out there and also being out there for the right reasons. I, like you rightly said, I'm not very good at social media, though I'm supposed to be. And my attempt is to just do good work, and hopefully the work will speak for itself, and I wouldn't need to do anything else that needs to supplement that.
Absolutely. And on similar lines, I have one another counter question. Like a continuation to that is because I talking with actors in this context is about perseverance. People keep talking about it, but it's easier said than done. It's probably one of the toughest things for an actor like you and others to persevere because there are bills to pay, there is stuff to do, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, what is your take on that? Because do you have that constant, problem that what do I do? Should I just be done with it? Should I not do this anymore? And stuff like that.
Well, that's not a question for me. Should I be done with it? Because I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it, and I'm privileged enough that I can make some money doing it, and I'm also blessed and I'm aware enough that I come from a family that can help me out if in case it comes to if push comes to shove and I need some money. So I'm quite cognizant of that, and I'm very thankful for that, and that's one thing. But I feel like if you should act if you want to act, and not because you want to become famous. If you want to become famous, I don't think this is the right field for you.
Correct.
Being famous is a byproduct of the work you do.
Yeah.
And if you just keep that in mind, I think, and a good head above your shoulders, you should be okay.
Awesome. For someone coming from someone like you who's still, as I mentioned in the early days, that's like great tip out there for people because I think there's always a misconception. People want to become famous. They don't necessarily want to become actors.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karan.
Thank you.
Thank you.